Well, it's been the greatest scandal to hit the world of cricket, and the jail terms handed out to Salman Butt, Mohammad Asif and Mohammad Amir in the spot-fixing case has ruined the reputation of the sport and certainly ended the careers of two of the three cricketers who were found guilty in the UK. But is this jail term and the ICC's ban on these cricketers good enough to rid the sport of its greatest menace? Joining us to discuss this, the one and only Imran Khan. Imran, thanks very much for being with us this evening. The cricketing world is shocked with the spot-fixing scandal. Are you satisfied with what the ICC has done, and now more recently with what the courts have done in terms of the sentences which have been given in the UK?
Well, satisfied is not the right word. I'm saddened. Especially because it means, what it means to be a player and the sort of sacrifices and self-denial it takes to get there, get to the top, and then it's all over for them, and then the families, what they must be going through. And a couple of them come from very humble backgrounds. I can just imagine what they're going through. So in one way, I'm saddened by this. For Pakistani cricket, it's a bad day. For Pakistanis, it's bad to have your national team players being convicted of cricket corruption. But long-term for Pakistan, I think it could turn out to be a blessing in disguise, because it will send a message to other cricketers that, look, this is you can be, that crime does not pay, that you can be punished. Because unfortunately, I think had we had strong cricket boards who had taken action when these first rumors, and I say rumors because I don't know whether they happened or not, but
right.
I left in 92, in 93 was the first time we heard rumors about match fixing. If our cricket boards had taken a proper action against them, investigated everything, chances are that we would not be seeing this humiliation which has just taken place in this court in London.
Imran, I just want to talk a little bit about Mohammad Amir. Now, a young and extremely talented player. Wasim Akram says he was more talented than Wasim was at the age of 18, 19. We know the crime that's been committed. He's been punished for that. But in cricketing terms, isn't this one of the biggest losses to Pakistani cricket, given the fact that you've not been performing all that well in recent times?
Well, the loss was already there before this court conviction,
sure,
because the ICC had banned him for 5 years. So yes, massive loss, because I have never in my 21 years of international cricket ever seen a talent at that age so mature, and what he could do at that age, I have never seen anyone. And what he could have become, the mind boggles, because he could have become anything. By the way, it doesn't necessarily mean that if someone is talented at that age, they will actually be able to realize that talent. They're two different things, because it takes a lot. For instance, Sachin Tendulkar was talented at 16, but to have got to where he has got, it took a lot of dedication, self-denial, commitment, analysis of the game, your mind. So a lot of things come into play. But what he was at that age, I have not seen any other cricketer as talented as him.
Are you optimistic that he could make are you optimistic of him possibly making a comeback in a few years from now? Because as you mentioned, he is extremely young.
I hope so, because I think that if anyone deserves sympathy in this whole thing is Amir. He probably came into a team where this was going on and accepted. And people got away with it. So he, and coming from the sort of humble background he did, he probably just didn't think, the consequences of getting caught. And I think in that sort of atmosphere, he got carried away. But my sympathies are with him also because he told the truth. He pleaded guilty. He did not say I didn't. He pleaded guilty and apologized. So, I mean, that's character.
Okay, but Imran, I must ask you about...
He could have tried to get away with it.
Okay. I must ask you about, the reputation that Pakistani cricket has earned. It's not just spot fixing. It's been going on for a very long time. Lots of questions have been raised about about match fixing at Sharjah. Questions have been raised about Pakistani bowlers scuffing up the ball for a very long time. Questions have been raised about 2 matches played by Pakistan in the 1999 World Cup by someone like Ali Bakar, 2 matches which were apparently fixed. It's sad for Pakistani cricket. Did you, when you were playing, ever see something like this potentially in the works? I know you retired in the early 90s, but when you were playing, did you see something like this happening?
Ball tampering was part of cricket. It's only when Wasim and Waqar started destroying teams with the reverse swing, they started calling it cheating or ball tampering. We saw foreign players lifting the seam. We saw them put lip salve and creams on the ball. No one ever said anything in front of the umpires. I saw players lifting the seam in front of the umpires in England and Australia. No one said anything. Suddenly these 2 bowlers started devastating the English team with reverse swing, and it became cheating. And yet the irony that the same English team wins Ashes with reverse swing, and then it became a skill. Then it became an art. So, I don't think that, I think Pakistani players were very unfairly treated about that ball tampering. In fact, an apology is due to especially Wasim and Waqar. Match fixing is a different thing. Yes, when the rumors first came about match fixing, our boards should have taken action. I feel that expediency was there, set in, because the president of the country appoints the chairman of the cricket board, and the chairman of the cricket board can only justify his position, because it's not on merit, if the team wins. So I think they got scared that if the senior players were involved in match fixing, they would have to kick them out. That would mean the team would not win, and that means the chairman would go. So I think that's where, a flaw in the way our cricket is run did affect proper investigation, going right to the root of the problem and eradicating it then. Because I think we did not nip this evil in the bud, and I think a lot of money came into match fixing too, because a lot of money exchanges hands, as we know, in the subcontinent, especially when cricket is being played. So I think, this grew, and I don't think Pakistan is the only team that was involved in it. I think other teams were involved in it. I know, well, we know about Hansi Cronje. So, and yet remember, no one has ever been caught by any cricket investigation.
Yeah, and that really
the only 2 cases were by chance the players got, this is a newspaper sting operation.
Sure.
And the case of Hansi Cronje, some other investigation going on, and he by chance got stuck, and that was in India.
Imran, we're running out of time, but you're a man who wears many hats, and your political fortunes, from all accounts, clearly on the ascendancy. I could be speaking now to the next Prime Minister of Pakistan, assuming that that is the case. If indeed that is the case, will you be able to change things round as far as India-Pakistan ties are concerned? Will you be able to get rid of all of these, all of the issues which affect both nations so much? All of your comments, for example, recently about Kashmir have concerned people over here. Do you have some sort of strategy so far in what you would do if you come to power in changing the Indo-Pak equation?
Well, I have a very clear strategy. My party has a clear strategy, and I hope that Indian leadership also has a strategy, because it takes 2 to tango. Pakistan and India must start a new relationship. This relationship must be based on trust. And when you start a relationship on trust, intelligence agencies of both countries should have no role in this. All our issues should be settled on the table through dialogue. We should find political solutions. We should now get mature. You cannot change your neighbors. The only way to live with neighbors is in a civilized way, and the subcontinent, with China taking off, becoming a global power, India on one side emerging as a global power, Pakistan in the middle, energy acting as an energy corridor to India, because remember, all the energy is Iran, Central Asian countries. The mind boggles what the subcontinent could become. This relationship, which is based on distrust, based on antagonism is stopping us from taking off the subcontinent I'm talking about. Because, you know, whatever we say, we have the greatest number of poor people or impoverished people in the world. And so they should be our priority, and I think we could have a civilized relationship. And I certainly believe that it's time to have a new beginning, you know, based on trust.